My ex would never have done that. The words fell from my wife's lips for the 100th time, and something inside me finally shattered. Then why didn't you marry him? The silence hung between us like smoke. I pushed forward, unable to stop, because he didn't want you either. The world exploded around us. 36 years old, 7 years married, 7 years living with a ghost. A man I'd never met, never cared to meet, until my wife invited him into our bed without either of us realizing it. He became the third presence in our marriage, always there, always better, always just out of reach. It crept in slowly. Year 1. We're building furniture together, me drowning in sweat and frustration, cursing an instruction manual that seemed designed by sadists. Then she said it, casual as breathing. My ex was really handy, built me an entire bookshelf once. Just like that. I finished that dresser, crooked, imperfect, but standing. Year 2. I forgot our anniversary reservation. My fault entirely. But instead of simple anger, she weaponized memory. My ex never forgot important dates. He had this whole calendar system. The comparison cut deeper than any fight. Year 3 brought my promotion, longer hours, necessary sacrifices. My ex always prioritized quality time, she said. He understood balance. As if success and presence couldn't coexist. Year 4. I planned her a surprise party, rented the venue, coordinated with her sister, invited everyone she loved. The cake arrived lopsided because the bakery failed us. Her eyes found the imperfection immediately. My ex threw me the most perfect 25th birthday. Everything was flawless. Nothing I did would ever be. Year 5. She caught a cold. I made soup from scratch, brought medicine, worked from home to care for her. She lay there miserable, snapping at everything, and I understood. Being sick strips away patience. But then, my ex used to read to me when I was sick. It was so sweet. Even my caretaking fell short. Year 6, bathroom renovation. Me doing the work myself, trying to save us money, watching YouTube tutorials at midnight. The tile didn't align perfectly because I'm not a contractor, just a husband doing his best. My ex's family had contractor connections. He would have had this done professionally. Of course he would have. The pattern became my reality. Every argument, every small failure, every moment I stumbled, he appeared like a specter who'd done everything right. I tried talking to her, tried expressing the wound. Babe, the comparisons hurt me. She'd apologize, promise awareness, swear to stop. 2 weeks would pass, then my ex used to massage my feet without being asked. Even my friends noticed. At a barbecue, she mentioned how her ex grilled better. But this is fine. My buddy pulled me aside after, concern etched in his face. Bro, that's messed up. You just going to take that? I made excuses, built walls around my pride. She doesn't mean it that way. We're working on it. We weren't working on anything. We were bleeding out slowly. Last Tuesday, everything collapsed. Dinner. I'd cooked. Nothing fancy, just pasta with sauce I'd spent an hour perfecting. She took 3 bites, pushed the plate away like discarding trash. It's good, but my ex used to make this amazing carbonara, like restaurant quality. 7 years of swallowing poison erupted. Then why didn't you marry him? She blinked, stunned. What? Your ex, the perfect man who built furniture and remembered dates and cooked like a chef. Why didn't you marry him? My voice was ice. That's not, I wasn't saying, because he didn't want you either. Silence crashed over us, the kind where you hear your own heartbeat, where the refrigerator hum becomes deafening. Her face cycled through emotions, shock melting into hurt, hardening into fury, something cold and terrible I'd never seen before. "How dare you?" Her voice shook. "How dare I?" "What? State facts. You've thrown this man in my face for 7 years. 7. And I'm supposed to sit here knowing he's the one who left. You didn't choose me over him. He chose nobody over you, and I was the consolation prize." She stood so violently, her chair scraped the floor like nails on a coffin. "You're disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And you're obsessed with a man who didn't want to keep you. We all have our issues. I spent 7 years building a life with you, and this is how you treat me? You spent 7 years reminding me I'm second place. Check the mirror before lecturing me about treatment." She grabbed her keys and left. The door slammed hard enough to shake the walls, to rattle something loose in my chest. I sat alone with my inferior pasta, wondering if I'd just murdered my marriage. Spoiler, I had, but not the way I expected. 4 days later. She didn't come home that night, or the next. A text arrived at 2 in the morning. "Staying at Mom's. You need to think about what you said and apologize. I won't come back until you do." I didn't respond, not from spite but from truth. I wasn't sorry. Harsh? Yes. Deserved after 7 years? Also, yes. Morning brought her sister's call. She'd never liked me, thought her sister was settling, made it clear at every family gathering with cutting remarks. At Thanksgiving once, loud enough for me to hear, "He's fine, I guess. Not exactly what I pictured for you." "You need to fix this," she demanded. No greeting, no warmth. "No." "Don't be cute. She's devastated, crying all night. How could you say something so cruel?" "Did she tell you what she's been saying to me for 7 years?" Pause. "She mentioned the ex-comments, but that's just venting. You're her husband. You're supposed to handle it." Handle being constantly told I'm inferior? That's what husbands are supposed to do? You're twisting it. She loves you. Sometimes she remembers good things. For 7 years, every fight, every mistake, her ex would never. Longer pause. Just apologize. Be the bigger person. I'll think about it. I didn't. Day 2, her father called. Shocking. The man had spoken maybe 100 words to me in 7 years. Quiet, distant, uninvolved. "Son," he began. The word felt wrong coming from him. "I don't know what happened, but my daughter is hurting. Whatever you did, make it right." "With respect, sir, whatever she told you isn't the whole story. She said you attacked her verbally, brought up things meant to wound her." "Did she tell you she's been comparing me to her ex for our entire marriage? Every week, sometimes daily, reminding me I'm not as good as him?" Silence stretched. Then, "That's between you two, but a man doesn't speak to his wife that way. And a wife doesn't treat her husband like a silver medal for 7 years." He hung up. Day 3, I came home to find her sitting on our couch, arms crossed, waiting. No text warning, just there. "We need to talk," she said. "Okay. What you said was unacceptable, cruel, designed to hurt me. And comparing me to your ex for 7 years wasn't? That's different. I wasn't trying to hurt you, I was just talking. You were constantly reminding me someone else was better, that I was your backup plan. You're being dramatic." I laughed, actually laughed, the sound bitter and broken. "I'm dramatic? You bring up your ex when I cook dinner, when I forget something, when I breathe wrong, apparently. But I'm the dramatic one? He was important to me. That relationship shaped who I am. Then be with him. I can't, She stopped, trapped. He's what? The truth tumbled out. Not from honesty, but from being cornered. We've been talking, just as friends. Reconnected on social media a few months ago." My blood turned to ice. Define talking. Just catching up, nothing happened. Show me your phone. Show me the messages. If it's just friendly, show me. She clutched her phone like I'd demanded her soul. That's an invasion of privacy. You've been secretly talking to the ex you constantly compare me to, and you want to lecture me about privacy. I don't have to prove anything to you. You're not my warden. I'm your husband, or at least I thought I was. She didn't show me. That silence told me everything. That night I slept in the guest room. Not because she asked, because I couldn't bear being close to her. Morning came, and I called a divorce attorney. Not to file immediately, just to understand my options, to see the shape of my future. Deep down, I knew this wasn't recoverable. Here's the thing about being the calm one. People underestimate you. They think you'll fold, apologize, crawl back. My wife thought she held all the power because she was the one who left, who demanded apologies. She was wrong. 2 weeks later. The messages were bad, worse than I imagined. I didn't snoop, didn't have to. Her sister, surprisingly, came through with information. Not from loyalty to me, but from her own anger at my wife over something else entirely. Turns out she'd been bragging to her sister about him reaching out, about how he finally realized what he'd lost, how he was practically begging to meet up. Her sister told their mother. Their mother, surprisingly, didn't approve. Told her she was playing with fire, needed to cut contact. My wife's response blocked her own mother for a week. This came to me through a call from my mother-in-law, someone I'd always respected. She called one evening while I was eating takeout alone in my kitchen. I need to tell you something. Listen without reacting. I listened. She told me about the messages her sister had shared, about my wife meeting her ex for coffee 3 weeks ago while we were still living together, still married. About my wife telling her sister she needed to see if there was still something there. I'm not excusing what she did, my mother-in-law said quietly, but I'm not letting you be blindsided. Whatever you decide, you deserve to know the truth. Did anything happen at that meeting? Long pause. I don't know. She told her sister nothing physical happened, but emotionally, she admitted she still had feelings for him. I thanked her. Genuinely. Then I called my lawyer and officially filed for divorce. The papers were served at her mother's house. I wanted witnesses because I knew exactly how she'd spin this otherwise. The process server confirmed delivery on a Thursday afternoon. The calls started immediately. You're divorcing me over what? Over 7 years of disrespect and meeting your ex behind my back. Who told you that? Panic edged her voice. Does it matter? It was my mother, wasn't it? She told you something I said in confidence? You're not denying it. Silence, then crying. It was just coffee. Nothing happened. I swear nothing happened. I don't believe you. And even if I did, it doesn't matter anymore. You can't just end a 7-year marriage over coffee. I'm ending a 7-year marriage over you, constantly comparing me to someone else, secretly reconnecting with that person, meeting them behind my back, and showing zero remorse. The coffee is just the cherry on top. I made one mistake. One, after 7 years of being a good wife. Good wives don't tell their husbands their exes were better. Good wives don't secretly meet those exes. And good wives don't double down when they're caught. She hung up. Over the next week, her family launched a full assault. Not physical, but constant pressure from every angle. Her father left a voicemail saying I was throwing away a family, that real men work through problems, they don't run. I saved it in case I needed evidence of harassment. Her sister texted me a novel about how I was too weak to handle a strong woman, how no wonder she looked elsewhere. Also saved. Her cousin, who I'd met maybe twice, somehow got my number to tell me I was making the biggest mistake of my life. Blocked. But the coup de grace came from my wife herself. She showed up at my workplace. I was leaving for lunch when I saw her car in the parking lot. She was leaning against it, looking like she hadn't slept in days. "We need to talk, privately." "We don't. Everything goes through lawyers now." "Screw the lawyers. I'm trying to save our marriage." "By ambushing me at work?" "By making you listen. You won't take my calls. You won't respond to texts. What am I supposed to do? Accept the divorce?" She grabbed my arm. People were starting to stare. "Please. I know I messed up, but 7 years, we can fix this." I pulled my arm back gently but firmly. "You spent 7 years telling me I wasn't good enough. Then you went looking for someone better. And now that it didn't work out, you want me to take you back. That's not fixing things. That's using me as a backup plan, again. That's not fair. None of this is fair, but it's reality." I walked away, got in my car, drove to a drive-thru because I'd lost my appetite for anything else. Ate alone in a parking lot, trying to process the fact that my wife genuinely seemed confused about why I wasn't forgiving her. That's when I realized, in her mind, she hadn't done anything wrong. The comparisons were just talking. The secret meeting was just coffee. My feelings about all of it were dramatic overreactions. She wasn't going to change. She couldn't even see the problem. 3 months later, final update. The divorce finalized last week. 8 months total from filing to final decree. Felt like 8 years. Her entitlement during the proceedings was staggering. Her lawyer was aggressive, probably feeding on the anger she brought in. First, she wanted the house I bought before we met. The house solely in my name because I purchased it 2 years before we even started dating. Her lawyer argued she'd contributed to the household for 7 years and deserved equity. Said she'd helped with improvements that increased the property value. My lawyer pulled out records showing I'd paid every single mortgage payment. She contributed to utilities and groceries. We'd split those roughly evenly. But the house was mine. Bought and paid for before she existed in my life. The judge agreed. She got nothing from the house. Second, she wanted alimony. Substantial alimony. Her lawyer painted a picture of a woman who'd sacrificed career, opportunities to support the marriage. News to me, since she'd worked full-time our entire marriage and received 2 promotions. She made about 60% of what I made, but still pulled in a solid income. Mid-60s. My lawyer argued she was fully capable of supporting herself. Provided her tax returns and employment history. Showed steady income increases. The judge awarded her 18 months of transitional support at $1,200 per month. Less than a quarter of what she'd asked for. Her face, when that number was announced, like she'd been slapped. Third, she wanted half my retirement. This one stunned me most. 7 years married, and retirement accounts accumulated during marriage are typically split. I had a decent 401k, about $180,000 built up. My lawyer fought to protect the portions from before marriage, but the 7 years of contributions during, fair game. I had to give up about $43,000. Hurt, but legally fair. I accepted it because fighting would have cost more in legal fees than the amount itself. Fourth, almost funny, she wanted our dog. We'd adopted him together in year 3. A beagle mix, sweetest animal you'll ever meet. She barely walked him, barely fed him, complained when he shed on her clothes. But suddenly, in the divorce, she had to have him. My lawyer asked if she had records of vet visits, food purchases, care expenses. She didn't. I had all of them. Every single vet appointment, I'd taken him, every bag of food, I'd bought it. She'd posted maybe 3 photos of him in 5 years. I had hundreds. She dropped the request when it became clear she'd lose. Throughout all of this, her family ran interference. Her sister called me pathetic for fighting over money with a woman I'd claimed to love. Her father sent a letter through his lawyer threatening to make my life difficult if I didn't give his daughter what she deserved. My lawyer sent back a response that basically said, "Try it, and we'll pursue harassment charges." Never heard from him again. Her mother, to her credit, stayed out of it after the initial revelation. I think she was embarrassed by how her daughter was behaving. Never reached out again, but never piled on either. The final hearing was anticlimactic. She didn't look at me. Her lawyer did all the talking. My lawyer did all the talking. We signed papers. It was done. Walking out of that courthouse, I felt lighter. Not happy exactly. You don't feel happy ending a 7-year marriage, but lighter. Like I'd been carrying something heavy and finally set it down. Here's the part I know some of you are waiting for. What happened to the ex? Turns out the perfect guy who built furniture and cooked carbonara and never forgot anniversaries. He wasn't interested in being her backup plan either. According to mutual friends who still talked to both sides, she'd reached out to him after I filed. Told him she was getting divorced, that she'd made a mistake, that maybe they could try again. Really put herself out there. He turned her down, said he was seeing someone else, had been for almost a year. That he'd only reached out as friends because he was in a nostalgic mood after a breakup, not because he wanted to rekindle anything. Said he wished her well, but didn't see a future there. She'd blown up her marriage, chasing a ghost, and the ghost didn't want her either. I'd be lying if I said that didn't feel vindicating. Not happy exactly, but vindicating. Last I heard through the grapevine, she moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. The transition from our house to a cramped rental hit hard. She complained to mutual friends about how unfair the settlement was, how she got nothing after 7 years. Conveniently left out that she tried to take a house she had no claim to. She's been on dating apps. A friend of a friend spotted her profile. One of her prompts said something about looking for someone who appreciates her. Rich, considering she never appreciated what she had. Her ex got engaged to his girlfriend a month ago. Saw it on social media. She apparently posted something vague about timing and missed connections that same day. Still not over him. Her relationship with her family is strained. Her mother is barely speaking to her after the blocking incident. Her sister took her side publicly, but apparently they've been fighting privately about money stuff. And me? I'm adjusting. The house feels different now. Quieter, sometimes too quiet. I've rearranged a few things, made it feel more like mine again, got rid of the throw pillows she picked out. Changed the curtains. Small stuff, but it matters. I'm not dating yet, not ready. 8 months isn't enough time to process 7 years. I started therapy about 2 months ago, should have done it years ago, learning to identify what I actually want versus what I was willing to accept. My therapist said something that stuck with me. You spent 7 years being told you weren't enough. That leaves marks. Give yourself time to heal those before bringing someone new into your life. Good advice. The other day, I cooked pasta. Same recipe, the one she compared to her ex's carbonara. It tasted fine. Better than fine, actually, because I wasn't eating it while waiting for the comparison to drop. Wasn't bracing for the next reminder that someone else did it better. Did I handle everything perfectly? No. That comment about her ex not wanting her was brutal. I could have taken the high road, addressed the issue calmly, suggested couples counseling years ago instead of swallowing my frustration. But after 7 years, I was fresh out of high roads. Sometimes you snap. Sometimes the thing you say is the thing you've been holding back for too long. Sometimes the truth comes out ugly because it's been compressed for so long. Do I regret it? Honestly, not really. It forced the truth out. made her reveal the secret contact with her ex. Made me realize this marriage had been dying for years, poisoned by constant comparison and quiet resentment on both sides. Better to rip off the bandage than keep pretending everything was fine. To anyone reading this who's going through something similar, trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. You're not crazy for wanting a partner who sees you as their first choice, not a consolation prize. Not someone who settles for you while dreaming about someone else. The ex comparisons stopped the day I filed for divorce. Funny how that works. Anyway, that's the story. 7 years, one brutal comment, and a whole lot of consequences. Time to cook some pasta. And nobody's going to tell me it's not as good as someone else's.